Matt Jarvis, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Thank you for coming on once again. The first thing I want to speak about today, Matt, is where did it all begin for you with football? When did you start training and decide it was what you wanted to do?
To be fair, I've got an older brother. He's like nearly 3 years older than me. So, growing up, it was always playing football with him and my dad, and that's sort of how I sort of got into it. Obviously, just enjoying it as a kid, and as you start sort of getting a slightly older and you start playing a bit more, it was then playing and winning like the little cups and the five-a-sides, seven-a-sides, and getting into that, and obviously realising that you're not too bad. So it was probably about then that I really sort of started thinking, oh, this is I love this, and then I got scouted by Millwall at the time, and it sort of slowly went from there. Really, I think it's it's always everyone's dream to go and play football, but I think the realisation at a certain age, I think I got released at 16, and that was a big turning point for me. That's a difficult one to take, really.
Unfortunately for you, like you said, you did get released from Millwall, but eventually you signed for Gillingham after. But before that, when you got released, did you still believe that you were going to make it, or did anything it give you more of a desire to go and prove them wrong and prove that it was a wrong decision releasing you?
I think what you've said there at the end is eventually what I came to. I think to
Yeah.
start with it was really difficult. I'd been at Millwall for about 6-7 years, and then to be told, obviously not good enough, you're not going to get offered anything. It sort of hit me quite hard. My confidence just completely went as a footballer. Confidence is huge, and Gillingham called me there, and like the same day that I got released, to say, look, come and play a game for us tomorrow. We really want you to come in. And I didn't play. I didn't want to. I didn't want to go. And it took me luckily they kept on calling me, and it took me about a good week to sort of come around to just then going and training with them. But again, my confidence took a massive hit, and I was shocking. I really was on trial with them. I was terrible. But luckily they saw something in me, and then after that, once I got offered the contract at Gillingham, something in me just sort of changed. And then it was like you said, then it was like, right, here's my opportunity. This is where I need to go and prove myself and be as determined as ever to prove people wrong, and to give myself the opportunity to go and play football for a living.
I imagine, as you say, it's a very difficult thing to get over when you've been released and basically told you're not good enough and you're gonna have to go. It must be a very tricky thing to get over.
It is at that age. It's 16 years old to be told you're not good enough, and being released by a club, it's very hard to take. At that age, there's a lot of players that get released, and that's as far as it goes. And then you get the other ones that get offered the YTS, as it was when I started, youth team contract, and then get released at the end of that, and it's really hard to take. But unfortunately, that is football in a nutshell. It's based on opinion. Someone's opinion is you're not good enough, and someone else's is you are, and that's the way that you've just got to keep mentally strong, which is very difficult to do.
Eventually, you did make it at Gillingham, and in 2007, you signed a 2-year contract at Wolves. And it seems like, from what I've seen of you, Wolves was one of the highlights of your career. How did you enjoy your time there, winning promotion in 2009?
Yeah, absolutely incredible an experience. Obviously, still got massive, amazing thoughts and memories of the club, and I still obviously speak to most of my teammates, and obviously the fans are absolutely incredible. It was just a period of time where all of us in the squad were at a similar age. No one had really played in the Premier League, so we're all like so determined and desperate to prove ourselves and to get to the Premier League, and we were just riding that wave of winning, and performances were exceptionally high, and we were playing exciting, expansive 4-4-2 football. Get it wide, get it in the box, and score goals. That was the way we did it in the Championship, and to just enjoy the whole process as well was just amazing. You don't get to to have seasons like that very often. So it was an amazing experience, and one that I always look back on and smile as an absolutely incredible achievement.
How did you find the step up to the Premier League when you got there? How did you find the difference between the Championship and the Premier League?
Yeah, for me, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was, I don't know, for me, it was just one of them. I was so excited and buzzing to test myself against the best players in the world,
Yeah,
and to step up and, basically go one-on-one and just see how good I was and see how good they were. The biggest thing I would say that the difference from the Championship to the Premier League is, in the Championship you get less time on the ball, but it's easier
yeah,
to do something with. In the Premier League, you get someone passes you the ball, you can have a touch and you can turn. You get that sort of bit of, I don't know, respect maybe that they know you're a good player, so you get more time to have the touch. But then as soon as you're turned, to try and get round them or to pass it inside, they get closer. Then you try to knock it past them. They're quicker and stronger. It's harder to do something with. And the biggest thing for me is just, in the Premier League, you get punished. If they get one shot, they score one goal. In the Championship, you can give the ball away and go and have a shot, and it's 50-50 if they score or not. Whereas the Premier League, you get one shot, it's one goal, and then it's the hardest thing to do is score a goal in the Premier League. So that's the biggest difference.
because I imagine, as you say, it was very tough, and you've played against some brilliant defenders such as Gary Neville for a season, Kyle Walker, Bakary Sagna, Branislav Ivanovic in his day in the Premier League. Have you got any very tricky opponents who you would say was the trickiest to play against for you?
I mean, the trickiest, they're all exceptionally good in their own right. Yeah, all very different. You've named them. It's incredible. I also played against like Ashley Cole on the other side. I mean, these are the best. He's one of the best. Well, he probably is the best defender fullback that's played in the Premier League. So it's just amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I always gave them a run for their money. I gave it everything. I always tried to take it past them and put crosses in or cut inside and shoot. So all of them in their own right. Especially a lot of the time, I was either playing at Wolves or West Ham, where we were defending a lot more than they would have the ball a lot more because they were attacking. So then you've got to chase them back, and they were all attacking fullbacks at the time. So it was that's the hardest part, to actually, you have to make sure you keep chasing them back before you then get the opportunity to run the other way. And you've got to take your opportunity when you get it, because they don't come around that often.
Yeah, they were all very, very good fullbacks, yeah. In August 2012, you did join West Ham for a fee rising up to 10 million, where you were a regular for a good few years. How did you find the difference there between moving from Wolves to West Ham, who'd had respectable finishes for the past few seasons?
Yeah, it was a fantastic move for me. I was club record signing at the time for West Ham. They'd just been promoted back from the Championship by the playoffs, and it was a huge opportunity for everyone. For me, it was, I'd been my last season at Wolves and my first season at West Ham. I'd put in the most crosses in Europe and the most successful crosses in Europe. Yeah. So I was enjoying my time. Yeah. It was a really good couple of seasons for me, and I felt like I'd sort of hit the ground running at West Ham, because everyone says how big West Ham is at a club, but it's only when when I signed as club record signing that the pressure then comes with it. The expectation levels are huge, but you are in central London. Everyone is a West Ham fan. You start meeting people. Oh yeah, I'm a West Ham fan, and you're like, wow, like this is such a big club. So, and Upton Park, the crowd it's electric when it's all going off. It's absolutely amazing. So, there was a lot of pressure, but it was amazing to be able to go out and perform especially at Upton Park.
What were the deciding factors for you to make that move from Wolves to West Ham?
For me, it was purely and simply football. I wanted to, I'd just got in the England squad. Unfortunately, Wolves, we got relegated. I wanted to continue to play in the Premier League, where, in the last 13 games of the season at Wolves, I'd scored 7 goals. So I felt like I really I not earned the right, I suppose, but I felt like I deserved to have an opportunity to get back in the Premier League and play, and West Ham gave me that opportunity, and that was the only reason I wanted to play football in the Premier League and try and get myself back in the England squad, and to play in the best league in the world for me. That was the ultimate.
And you did have a good few successful years at West Ham. Throughout your career, you've played with some very good players. Matt Doherty, who's gone on to become a brilliant fullback. Joe Cole, superb player. Mark Noble. But for you, who would be your standout player who you've played?
That's such a difficult question, because I've played with a lot of players in different stages of their career. You say Joe Cole. I played with Joe Cole when he was at West Ham. Yes, he was still amazing, but he was more towards the end.
Yeah.
I played with James Maddison at Norwich. He was sort of more at the start of his career. He's an exceptional player.
Yeah.
The only player that I would say that I played with that was, maybe in his, top, the maximum, that was his perfect season, would have been Dimitri Payet at West Ham. That season, he was just outstanding. What he did with the ball, his free kicks, his delivery, what he done for West Ham that season was just electric, absolutely incredible. So I've played with a lot of very, very good players, but in his prime, I played with was probably Dimitri Payet.
I imagine it is a very tough question, but Payet was an exceptional player. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, obviously, a lot of West Ham. Whenever I say that, West Ham fans aren't too pleased, but that's only because of the way it finished for him. Unfortunately, that first season he came, he was outstanding.
Yeah. In March 2011, just going to go back to something you mentioned there, you were called up to the England national team and made your debut for the last 25 minutes against Ghana, and which you have described before as the pinnacle of your career. How did it feel to represent England and get called up to your national team?
I mean, it's so hard to describe. It's the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Everyone dreams about playing for their country, and as a kid, that was my dream. That was every footballer's dream, is to play for their national side, and to get the phone call, to get the message to be called up, and then to actually, for me personally, I look at it, and with everything that's been going on recently, making my debut, I was so fortunate enough for it to be at Wembley in front of 80,000 fans. All my friends and all my family were there.
Yeah.
So to have that sort of debut was just it's absolutely amazing.
It must be a phenomenal feeling, because I think from what I think with the players, sometimes you might go to a club and your friends and your family will obviously still support you, but it's not as much as it will mean playing for England in front of them, is it?
I think it's everyone's, for me, like my family, all my friends, it's just, they were, so proud of me, and to be able to be at the game as well, to be cheering you on. It's just everyone I've spoken to, there's loads of fans, Gillingham fans, for instance, they were messaging me, they are all the Wolves fans.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's just, at the time, it is absolutely amazing to be able to have done it for myself, but also for so many other people to have enjoyed it as well is the, as I said, the pinnacle.
Did you get a nervous feeling waiting, standing at the dugout before you came on?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I remember it, like literally at half time. I was warming up on at half time, but then when the game started, I stayed out. I was just up and running up and down, and constantly just sort of looking back at the bench, like waiting to get that the call back. And I was near the corner flag, and I turn around and I see someone, and you look and you go, was he waving at me? And then they're like, yeah. And I'm like, he's sprinting back to the dugout, like shirts off, getting your shirt on, and then just standing there, people telling you where you're supposed to be at corners and free kicks and all that, and you're trying to listen, but all you're thinking about is, I'm coming on. This is going to be absolutely amazing. And then I remember just standing there. The board goes up and I'm coming on, and I'm just thinking, right, don't look nervous, because I know that the camera will be panned straight on me and making my debut. Try and stay focused, but don't be nervous, don't look nervous. And then walking on, I just remember just going, I've done it. Like I've played for my country. No one can take this away from me. This is a dream come true. And then I know it sounds silly, but then once you're on the pitch and I've had my first touch of the ball, you go into this is what you've done for the last however many years. You go into I'm playing football now, and you go into that rather than having that nervousness energy. You have that before when you first get on, but once you've had a touch of the ball and you're getting into your stride, it's just getting back into playing football.
Looking at your career, would you say that is your ultimate highlight?
Yeah, 100%. I think there is. I've had a lot of highs, but that has got to be it. Playing at Wembley for your country, in front of all of my friends and family, everyone. It was just incredible. So yeah, I would say that was the pinnacle.
It's just got to be such an amazing feeling playing for your country, because I remember John Hartson came on a couple of weeks ago and he said playing for Wales was just the ultimate, but it must have just been amazing.
It was. I don't know what else to say about it. I get tingles talking about it, thinking about it. I can feel myself at that moment. Running back towards the dugout, standing there before you come on, and there's nothing else. It's just to be able to say, yeah, I've played for England. I talk to my son now; he's 4, and the Euros are on, and he's watching, and he's like, "Daddy, you played?" I was like, "Yeah, I did, yeah." And you're just like, yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Yeah, I did.
I imagine it's one of them things that just stay with you for the rest of your life, and you just look back at it, and I imagine it just gives you a smile every time you think about it.
Definitely. Obviously, you've got the England cap as well, so it's like it's something to sort of show. I've got my shirt, and to be fair, it was 1-1 in the Ghana game, and Asamoah Gyan scored. And the kit man managed to get his shirt, Asamoah Gyan. So I've got my shirt signed by all the lads, and Asamoah Gyan's shirt with a picture of like me playing and the scoreline and date and everything in a frame. And it's something to reminisce and see all the time is amazing.
As you mentioned there on the topic of the Euros, we play Germany tomorrow night. How do you feel going into this game? What are your thoughts?
I sort of go into it. I have a really positive start out, and I think, it's a great time. The Germans aren't playing particularly well. We're defensively doing really well. We've got the players that can hurt them, and it's just all about how and what formation and what players are playing and that side of things. But then you start thinking, that's exactly what Germany are thinking about us. England aren't in great form. Don't know what players that they're going to play. You sort of go up and down. But I think it's such a good opportunity to get to a major final, really, or at least the semi-finals. When you look at it at the potential that if we get through Germany, the potential to get to the final is such a good opportunity. So we've got to beat the big boys at some point, and why not start with Germany?
I imagine it's going to be a very tight game. I think, as you say, it's going to be a game where both teams do fancy each other. But I think at Wembley, I'm confident that we can get the 1-0 win and get to the quarters. Is there anyone you would like to see in particular as one of the first names on the team sheet?
I think everyone's looking at. It's so difficult to say. Like for me, obviously, Grealish is incredible. Everyone talks about Grealish being an exceptional player, and he is. And he's one of them players that whatever type of game it is, he'll always want the ball, and he'll always receive the ball. Even if he's got 2-3 players around him, he'll still receive it, and that takes a lot of guts, a lot of confidence to be able to do that. And he drags the team up the pitch. But for me, you're looking at it, I think it's all dependent on Southgate and how he wants to set up. He throws in curveballs all the time of just something that you're not expecting, and he's very much going to be tactically thinking, what are we going to be able to do to combat the Germans and make sure that we're going to come out on top. And whether that's a formation change, maybe that's personnel, I think it's going to be very much a tight tactical game that's going to be won, by the odd goal. That'll be it. I don't see it being a very high scoring game. Let's hope I'm proved wrong. Let's hope I'm proved wrong, because you want to have that exciting game. But I think defensively we're going to be very sound as we've seen. But it's just about having the right players on the pitch to create that opportunity to go and get a goal.
There's certainly a lot of questions over formation. Like, do we go wing-back system, match up Germany? But whatever we do, hopefully we'll get over the line and get to the quarters.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, doesn't matter what formation we're playing, doesn't matter who's playing. The ultimate aim is to get through the round and get into the quarters. That's it. Doesn't matter how you get through, you've got to get through.
And to be the best, you have to beat the best, like you say. So, but
you've got to start somewhere. You know, you got a lot of good teams that you've got to play. You know, and Germany are right up there. So to beat them will just add to the confidence growing into the next round, and to have that hope and dream of coming and getting to a final.
Hopefully. But finally, Matt, last month you announced your retirement. What are your plans for the future? Are you going to look to do more punditry, get your coaching badges? Any plans?
Yeah. So I mean, I've got my coaching badges already. At the moment, I really would like to continue doing the media stuff, the punditry, any podcasts, bits and pieces like that. I'd really enjoy to keep doing that. I think there's other little avenues that I'm exploring, and I've been involved in a like it's called Family Football Coach. That's an app that's going to be coming out very shortly, which has been in the pipeline for a few years. So hopefully, things like that I'm going to be keeping myself very busy, especially with 2 kids as well. At least I'm around and being able to help out.
And hopefully it all goes well for you. And thank you so much again for coming on today.